Hello world, it's Berto Pray 5, Cuplaw, and welcome to the members only stream, the second Tuesday of the month, May 9th, 2023. And for those interested, I'm putting in the link for those who might like to join the panel. LDG was first in the chat early this morning. With a saying 5x5. Welcome, LDG. 47 Yorktown says hello, young sir. Hello, 47. Dan Ben says hi. Welcome, Dan Ben. And John DeMarco says greetings, all greetings, John DeMarco. So, yes, if you have not heard, the latest thing in the world of Karoga is Birdle. Birdle is a thing at bertopray5.com/Birdle. We'll put the link in. You can just go to bertopray5.com and it's listed there under Dear Bop is a link to Birdle. Or if you want the direct link, it's bertopray5.com/Birdle, and it is a Wordle clone. Now it's very similar to Wordle, but as of this morning, I've gone through the next year's worth of words and I've removed all the bullshit words. If it was a word that I didn't hear of or never heard of before, or I didn't know the definition of, I erased it and I replaced it with more standard words. Words that had previously been skipped due to the New York Times changing the game, but were in the original game, but then the New York Times might have moved them or what. So, yeah, that's the deal. Birdle is like Wordle, but D without the New York Times screwing around with it, and also with better words than the original had, because even the original had some screwy words. Now, don't get me wrong, there are still difficult words. Okay, there are words that have no vowels. There are hard to, like even going through the words word by word, I'm like, wow, that's easy, that's easy, that's easy. Like, holy shit, that's going to be a hard one. But if I knew the definition of the word, I left it in. There were some relatively easy words that, like, well, you could probably figure that out, but I had no idea what it was. So I axed them. And yeah, I hope some people might enjoy it. I made a little change to when it shares. If you share it on Twitter, not a problem. I hope it doesn't screw up sharing on Facebook, but I can undo that change if it becomes a problem. The Random Menace is greetings from the future. Greetings, Random Menace. And Dan Mam says it says I've been a member for 28 days. I'm not sure how many left. I believe a membership generally goes 30 days. If you were gifted a membership, you probably got two days left. Dan Ben says words without vowels. The words without vowels are why. Yeah, there's myths. Yeah, there are a fair number of 5-letter words without vowels. And Yitza says, oh, I can join the fancy pants stuff too again. Yitza, it is open to everybody. bertopray5.com/Birdle. I tried to buy Birdle.com, but some schmuck had purchased it years before. before Wordle was even a thing. They claimed to have it in 2014. Some internet, what do you call those people who buy a domain name just like scalper, just to buy the domain name in hopes they'll sell it for more money later. He has no reason to have Bertle.com. It doesn't mean anything to him. It's just he thought it sounded okay and figured one day some company would pay something, so he figured he would sit on it, he'd buy it and hold it, which should be not illegal, but it should be against internet policy. Like if you have a domain name and you haven't done anything with it for 5 years, you should probably have to give it up. But the entire domain name system is screwed up. Okay. It's bullshit. It's become for profit. It is one of the things that really annoys me about the internet is they don't have to allow people to buy domain names and sell them at profit. But they do, and there's whole businesses of people that bought up literally every single 1, 2, and 3, and 4 character domain name has been purchased. Now, most of them are not in use, but they've been purchased just on the off chance somebody wants to use it. Like for my web forum, Joe's Ultimate Off Topic, JUOT, was a domain name that I had for many, many months, years. And I had JUOT.net because JUOT.com was owned by some idiot who owned a whole bunch of 4-letter domain names. And I was like, well, I went to ask this guy, I was like, okay, well, no one else has any use for JUOT.com. I own JUOT.net. At the time, I owned JUOT.org and JUOT.co, JUOT. All the other JUOTs. And I was like, so how much? And at the time, I was willing to spend, a couple $1,000s to purchase it. And he was like, no, the minimum he would even entertain was $20,000. I was like, what are you talking about, $20,000? I was like, no one else is ever going to offer you anything for this domain name. It's only me. He's like, 20,000 or it's not even worth it. I was like, I will contact you again in a year and see if you changed your mind. So a year later to the day, I sent him an email and reminded him of where we were. And he still said, no, same deal. I said, okay, I will contact you again in a year. And once again, a year later, and he said, good news, he's lowered his price. I was like, okay, 10,000. I said, once again, you seem to fail to understand. I've done searches. JUOT means absolutely nothing to anyone on this planet but me, and I will never pay that price, mostly because I don't have that much money. And the other part is, at this point, is you're just pissing me off. So again, I will contact you in 1 year, assuming I'm still alive and the site is still going on. Now, that year was the year of all shit broke loose. So I didn't get to contact him. It took another year. And I said, well, it's been 2. And now I said, I have even less to offer. So again, are you willing to sell this domain? Yes. How much? $5,000. Like, nope. It's like, had you told me 5,000 when I first asked you, I might have been able to do it. I was like, but now I can offer you 500. And he was like, oh, no, no. I was like, well, I guess we'll call you in another year. And another year went by and he was down to like $2,000. But at that point, I was broke. So I was like, I can do like 200. And he got angry. And I was like, I told him, I was like, listen, usually I tell you I'm going to message you again in a year. I said, I'm probably not going to message you again. If you change your mind, you know how to reach me. I never heard back from him. And so JUOT.com will probably never be purchased. At this point, fuck him. If LDG can buy it, good for him. Yitza did it in 5 earlier. Awesome. Random Menace says, I could try Bertle.org or net or something. Yeah, I could, but I don't really feel a need. I already got it under BertlePray5.com. If I got to do anything but com, it's not really worth it. And 47 Yorktown says, I often start with a do. Yitza suggests Bertle.xxx. That's one of the most expensive domains you can get. A .xxx domain costs a lot of money. It might be cheap the first year, but the renewals are incredible. The good thing about .com is that it's a set price, and it always the renewal is relatively cheap. All the other fancy domains now, top level domains, they all have a cheap first year, but the renewal is way high. And that's the whole top level domain thing it's all screwed up. I would fix it completely. It's all this bullshit. Random Menace says, I usually punch, point, swear, bulky, and from those I often get 3 to 4 letters, and the solution comes on either row 4 or 5. Well, that's pretty cool. You'll notice if anybody notices on Bertle, I change the words that come up after you get the word. If you get the word in one try, instead of saying genius, it now says cheater. And if you get it in 2 tries, instead of splendid, it says something else. Wow. If you do it, yeah, wow. If you get it in 4 tries, which I find tends to be like the average, it says kapla. And if you get it on the very last try, instead of saying few, it says lucky. Dan Ben is not good at spelling. It doesn't come easy. Well, no worries, Dan Ben. And Random Ben says, I was called cheater. I tried it in incognito. Yes. Well, then he's laughing. Exactly. It knew what you were up to, Random Menace. But yeah, it was fun. That's the whole thing about Wordle. Wordle was one of the beautiful things about the internet. It was made by a guy who was really just doing it for his girlfriend and some friends and family. He had no great desire for money at the time, and he coded it brilliantly. It is so brilliantly coded that one small website could deal with hundreds of thousands of people going to it. The only time it needs to download an update is on the rare times he has to update the source file, but he coded the thing so brilliantly, the source file never really needs to be updated. Once you've downloaded the file one time, which is not all that big of a file, and the graphics, which are very relatively small graphics, they were just the letter W. Really, the icon is just the letter W in several sizes, and he had really minified the file sizes of even those graphics quite a bit. So between that and the plain text JavaScript file, you're only downloading a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a megabyte worth of data. So millions of people could download it, and then it never really needed another download for months, if not years. So if you had, server space, I assume he had rented either from a web host or Amazon Web Services. The little amount of server space required and CPU power may well have been free, may well have even been free. I mean, it was of such low need that he basically had zero expense to bring this game out. He had the share feature, which he knew would share it to sites like Twitter and Facebook. Now his had no link back to Wordle. There wasn't a link included, so the only way people knew about it is by Googling Wordle. And the good thing was that Wordle was a completely unique word to him. So at the time, if you Googled Wordle, you would find the Wordle website very easily. Now, over the months and years since it's been purchased, of course, Success and a whole bunch of Wordle clones were made based off of his original code, which his original code apparently was open source and was available to download from GitHub, which is, for those who know, basically a database on the internet of all various types of open source software code. So you could download it from GitHub, like I did, and knowing some basics of computer programming, I made several changes to change it from Wordle to Birdle. I updated the website address, updated a few graphics, and I got it running that day. In fact, I got it running in probably 20 minutes. And then I spent another couple hours just fixing little things. And then this morning, I spent some time, and as of today, for at least the next year, I updated all the words that were coming out, and any word I didn't know the meaning of, I replaced. I replaced with a word I did know the meaning of. So I never, and honestly, I played Wordle this morning and I had forgotten what the word was. So it was just as good a time as any I had playing it. And by tomorrow, I will have forgotten most of the words again anyway. So I will be playing the game like usual. And yeah, but I'll know that whatever word it is a word I know. And I don't have to worry about, is this it might be a hard one. It might be one that only has, 2 letters used out of 5. If you don't get either of those letters, you're fucked. But I'll know at least it is a word I did know. So.
And just Reggie,
And Mama
nothing.
Brain doesn't know any of the words. She doesn't know, let's put it this way. She doesn't know the list of words. She didn't see the list of words. So Mama Pray still gets to play it for fun. I'm the only one who looked at the list of words in the house. So. Yitzhak says that's almost verbatim what you said Monday. Well, it's except I hadn't updated the words on Monday. Dan Benz, I thought the internet was made by students at college to share test results. No, Dan Ben, the internet was made by the US military. Yitzhak says now that Bird got the coding bug again, he will probably code Prometheus fast and LDG. Well, the problem, Yitzhak, is and LDG is probably listening. I don't necessarily know that Prometheus is going to work as LDG says it does. So I will let LDG code Prometheus and happily wait to be surprised and wrong. Yes, this is GitHub is a site where non-coders like me spend hours trying to find the download button. Yeah, it is extremely hard to find the download option. I get that. Dan Ben says Git in England means a foolish or worthless person. Git is usually used as an insult, more severe than twit, but less than a true profanity like wanker or asshole. Interesting. The random menace says lol, the last Wordle needed only 3 letters. The last Wordle needed only 3 letters. Oh. Yeah, it says it's in the summer of 91. Tim Berners-Lee announced his idea for the World Wide Web, which developed together with the Belgium. Okay, well, that's the web. The web and the internet are different things. The internet is not made by students. The web might have been. That's the difference. The internet's quite old. The web is relatively new. Then there was Gopher, which predated websites, which I thought was better. Frankly, I think we should have more Gopher sites than websites. Gopher was basically like the web if it was only text and links, no graphics. And the moment they allowed graphics, it ruined the web. And it's Belgian. A Belgian was part of the web. Congratulations to Belgium. So it's 4:23, guys. If anybody wants to come up and talk or have questions, put them in now. I have a hard break. Well, certainly a hard break by 5 o'clock, but probably 4:45. I've got to certainly bring it to a close around then. I have physical therapy today at 5, so we got maybe 20 minutes left. Any questions, any topics you want to bring up? Now is the time. I do want to thank everybody here, as always, for the channels, for the support. With Star Trek Picard over and Sassy is running around with a plate. She took a paper plate out of the garbage. Oh, Sassy. Anyway, with Star Trek Picard over and a month or so till Lower Decks begins, I gotta see if I can figure out what I get out a video or two in the meantime. The Random Menace heard there's no more porn available in Utah. That is clearly not true. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they put some sort of state law making it harder, but it's clearly not true. Let's Google it. Utah porn, internet porn. I assume you mean internet porn. Law. A new state law requiring adult websites to verify the ages of their users took effect on Wednesday, making the state at least the second to enact an age verification law to shield kids from sexually explicit materials. Utah law requiring porn websites to verify user ages takes effect. You may soon be required to prove you're older than 18 to watch porn in Utah if adult websites comply with the law that took effect Wednesday. A new state law requiring adult websites to verify the ages, blah, blah, blah. It's part of our job as a society and maybe a subset of my job as a lawmaker to try to protect children, said State Senator Todd Wheeler, the measure's Republican sponsor. I'm not going to blame all society's ills on pornography, but I don't think it's helpful when kids is forming their impressions of sex and gender to have all of this filth and lewd depictions in their mind. It's currently illegal to show children pornography under federal law. However, it's rarely enforced. The law in Utah is the latest move to crack down on access to pornography and dovetails with lawmakers' other efforts to restrict how kids use the internet, including social media sites. It comes less than a year after Louisiana enacted a similar law. Blah, 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 blah. Though heralded by social conservatives, age verification laws have been condemned by adult websites who argue they're part of an anti-sex political movement. They've also garnered opposition from groups that advocate for digital privacy and free speech, including the Electronic Frontier Foundation. The group argued earlier this year that it's impossible to ensure websites don't retain user data, regardless if age verification laws require they delete it. Earlier this week, Pornhub, among the most widely viewed adult websites, blocked access to its content to protest the law. Those in Utah attempting to access the site Monday have been greeted with a Dear User letter and accompanying video from adult film actor Cherry DeVille. Giving your ID card every time you want to visit an adult platform is not the most effective solution for protecting our users. Reading from the letter. The best and most effective protecting children and adults is identify the users by their device. The letter says Pornhub will completely disable access in Utah due to the law unless a real solution is offered. It's unclear if other websites will comply. Wow. Well, you know what? I think I'm with Pornhub on this one. If a state wants to ban it or make it hard, then fine. I'll just not do business with your state. Now, if all the other states pass similar laws, that might be different. But yeah, okay. Well, it would suck to live in Utah, I guess, if you were looking for porn. Random Menace says everybody in Utah is now downloading VPN. Dan Ben says there's a Babylon 5 animated movie. Yes, we've heard of that. Dan Ben says getting a new phone or SIM card. I've always had to contact phone provider to turn off adult content block if I want to see anything 18 plus. Well, I don't know where you live, Dan Ben. I mean, I know you live in the UK, I guess. That might be normal there, but in the United States, that's not normal here. Yitzhak says Sherry DeVille doesn't do anything for me. I have no idea who that is, but I don't really care to look it up either. Dan Benz is on social media platform. There's that logo that looks like similar to Pornhub. There's that logo you could make that looks similar. If you say so, I'm not aware. I don't need to make a Pornhub similar logo. So, unrelated to Pornhub, I don't want to go too much into this, but I feel like the day deserves a little bit to be brought up. Today, May 9th, it was 14 years ago today that I ended up in the hospital. The long sleep, if you will, followed. 14 years. I've been in the hospital bed now. 14 years. 14 years has been a different life, a completely different life. I had 30 years of one life, and now I'm 14 years into my second different life. Yeah, the first one was better. Don't get me wrong. The second one, it could be worse. It could be a lot worse. But that first one, I was very, very lucky to have what I had for as long as I had. Random Menace says your mom is a larger than life hero. She is, Random Menace. And I saw what you wrote on her Facebook wall. And thank you. It was moving and beautiful, and it brought Mama Bray to tears. I had forgotten all about it. Yesterday, I had completely forgotten that today was any special day for myself. I knew May is a busy day. We have loved ones who had birthdays, loved ones who passed away. There are anniversaries, like I said, multiple birthdays, friends, family. A lot of days in May meant something to, well, not meant something to many of us, but were days that we generally celebrated. Plus, it was Mother's Day, which was always a big day. And well, it was a big day.
Yeah, but not, yeah, it was a big day, don't you say that?
No, I never said a nice day. I said a big day. Um, so, yeah, and I had completely forgotten. I was like, oh, right, May 9th. Dan Ben says,
Still here.
yes, I'm still here. Dan Ben says Kevin Bacon does commercials for a UK mobile phone company. I'm sure he does. But, yeah,
You okay, hope you ready?
yes, Mom, okay. I'm okay. Randomness is Mother's Day. I am getting Erica her first Mother's Day flowers.
Oh,
A bit early, but as a dry run. Is Mother's Day, do you guys use the American Mother's Day? Because I know Mother's Day in the UK is like earlier, I believe, or later. I don't know. I thought Mother's Day in Europe, certainly in the UK, it's different than Mother's Day in the United States.
you should celebrate both.
Mamo prices you should celebrate both. Yeah, for the US, it's this Sunday, right? Yeah. So Mother's Day is Sunday the 14th. Sunday the 14th. Yes. Back in 2009, it was the 9th. It was today. Second Sunday in March, in May. Second Sunday in May. Then that's the same as in the United States. Okay. So yeah, you have US Mother's Day. Uh, I'm not saying we own the day, but it's the same Mother's Day as we do. Um, that's congrats again to Erica. Yitzis is 14th of May, 2 in Belgium, although one province, Antwerp, has it in August. Interesting. My cell phone is ringing. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. My friend called and I just wanted to make sure everything was okay. It was. Dan Ben says Mother's Day in UK was the 19th of March. And his Mother's Day and his mom's birthday were close together this year. Well, I imagine they're close together every year, although some days closer than others. And Father's Day is in what, June, I think. So I don't know. Father's Day was never as big as Mother's Day.
Because every day was Father's Day.
Bible phrases because every day was Father's Day. Is that how it worked?
Back in the day, yeah.
Yitzhak says lies. Such lies. Every day is Women's Day. Well, now. Yeah. Even Father's Day. Um, is there anything anybody'd like to say? Anything? Any questions? Any suggestions? We're all friends here. Random Minute says no father, no celebration. If there was a jerk day, I could do that. Gotcha. Well, I've also been playing around on kick.com. The good thing about kick.com is that it sends out emails when I go live very quickly. The bad thing about kick.com is that I only use it when I go live, when I use StreamYard, and obviously not on members only streams because this has to be only on YouTube. But currently, my StreamYard streams are when I watch Enterprise or Twilight Zone or the like. Bed Lifes, they don't go on kick.com because those broadcast directly to YouTube. So if anybody is interested in subscribing on kick.com, you maybe get half of my notifications that way. It's something worth trying. Random Menace says no suggestions. Love the content. You could do more gaming streams if you are playing. Yeah. Thank you. I honestly just haven't been playing. The only game I've been playing has been that poker game, Governor of Poker, and I don't think it's all that interesting for most people to watch. I haven't played like City Skylines or any real game in months. I downloaded Star Trek Bridge Commander. That looked pretty decent, but I can't figure out how to play the game at all. It's like a keyboard based game, apparently. I would thought for sure there'd be controller support. I'm sure there is, but so far I haven't been able to get that to work. So if I can get that to work, that'll be something to play because it's pretty nice graphics and could be a Klingon bird of prey attacking a Federation fleet or something, or anything. You could be pretty much any ship you can think of. The Defiant. You could be Deep Space Nine and attacking space dock. And Mama Pray, just so you know, Angel's on his way. Dan Ben says, if you're not interested in new Star Trek game, Resurgent, I haven't checked that one out, Dan Ben. Antiderivative Jill is here. Hello, Antiderivative Jill. I was listening, Jill, to your stream. the Doomsday Machine review. Very cool. I gave it an A+, as I'm sure you read. I said, oh, this is another A+, as it's only an A+, although sometimes it's A++, depending on my mood. Unfortunately, coming in just as we were getting ready to end here, my physical therapist is on his way, so I'm gonna have to go. But please, one last time, any suggestions, any questions, anything I can do, let me know. If you want to, you can always, guys, you can always reach me outside of member streams. I'm always, available. You can reach me at bertopray5@aol.com via email. You can reach me on Twitter. You can, if you can message me directly on Twitter. If I'm not already following you, just send an at bertopray5 Twitter message and say, hey, it's so and so. Like if I don't recognize your screen name, if you use a different name on Twitter than you use here, then let me know, and I will follow you back, and you'll be able to message me on Twitter. And also Discord, obviously. There's the bertopray5 Discord. You can always message me there as well. And you can get to any of these places at bertopray5.com. It's got the link for my Twitter, for my Facebook, for Discord, for Bertle, and everything else. Steam, whatever you want. You can message me on Steam, whatever is of interest. Pop Culture Curator says, hello, guys. Sorry I missed the stream. No worries, Pop Culture Curator. Dan Van says, Star Trek Resurgence comes out 23rd of May for PlayStation 5, PS4, Xbox X, Xbox One, and PC via the Epic Game Store. Thank you, Dan Ben. John DeMarco says, thanks for the stream, Bird. You are welcome. And the Random Menace says, say hi to the it's the therapist, not the rapist. Thanks for the stream. You're welcome, the Random Menace. And Dan Benz has recently Star Trek announced Jonathan Frakes will be in part of that new game. And the Shuttlepod 1 podcast is having LeVar Burton on this Sunday. So that'll be another interesting Shuttlepod show podcast. I don't think those guys like me much anymore. They did a Sunday review of The Cage, and they had a guy who has never seen The Cage before, never seen any Star Trek before, and they let him do the review of The Cage. And I'm like, this isn't really working for me. Like, the guy has no fucking idea what he's talking about. And then the people were like, well, wait, they saw this in 1966. I was like, no, you idiots. It didn't air in 1966. It didn't air until the late 80s. And multiple times people were like, well, this was on TV in 1966. No, it wasn't on TV in 1966. And no, like it's the fucking the dumb leading the blind, the deaf leading the blind, whatever the phrasing is. They have no clue, and they're not all that great at their Trek history to begin with. So nobody was calling them out. This guy just saying stupid shit. And he's like, I don't know what it says about gender roles. I wanted to slap him. I wanted to fucking slap him. So yeah, don't get me wrong. I still say the Shuttlepod podcast is a fun show, but I'm not going to wait for my invitation to the Christmas dinner in the mail, if you know what I mean. Kapla all, gotta go. Enjoy. Bird out.